Today we're looking at the 2023 England Nationals Men's Open Grand Final.
Oh, how about that? It's even better.
Count of the man, count of the hour.
That is sensational.
Right, let's go. Men's Open Grand Final, England touch. Taipans with the red strip and the Sharks with the blue. Obviously, blue, water, red, hot, Taipans, snake. Makes sense. I did a review of the 2022 game that went into a drop-off, and I hear this game was just as exciting as the Sharks have got the ball down the short side, and a nice cut from the winger. But I did notice something here. There's a bit more going on than just the cut from the winger. There's a team where I'm from, the Sydney Mets. They love doing this sort of stuff. Okay, so he's coming to dump the ball. Middle, oh, I need my pen. Middle. Okay. It's hard to tell. I believe this guy is the saving middle. This is the short side for the toucher. It's very hard to tell because they're kind of behind one another. Let's see what happens. It's a middle scoot. Yep. So this player here, he's just dumped the ball, and what he's done is instead of realigning himself so he can hit a hole or anything like that, he's run into the defensive line and he's just holding himself. He's not really going in and trying to push anyone out of the way. He's just holding, and he's in the way. So it just means these two middles, now they can't sort of get, like they can't chase unless they dodge him. So it's a bit of, the term we use at home is called a fridge. So you see how he's just stopped in the line there? And he's just sort of crabbing it. It's just something that you probably shouldn't be allowed to do. But the referee's where's the referee? Anyway, can't find the referee. So he's probably just not seen it. Just gave a clear passage down the short side. And the winger's just cut around his own player, which means the defensive winger there, it's just very hard for him to get to him. So it's a nice cut from the winger. Sneaky body placement from the dumper, and the Sharks go up 1-0. Taipans hit back, short side quickie. So he scored the touch, and I believe what happens here is the referee on the side has just given the tip saying that his feet didn't make the line. So we'll have a look at that again. This is very basic. The problem is we have two in the touch. Okay, so when it's a short side quickie, this player's got to pull corner. But this player here is also in the touch, the other middle. So naturally he might pull this way, which just means there's a massive hole in the middle. It doesn't fan out to anything like that. He still pulls the corner. Okay, this player starts moving forward. Okay, his eyes are always on the ball, but he still needs to remember where his player is. And he just gets sucked in that little too much. It's very close. Very, very close. But yeah, I reckon he should be tighter. Instead of moving forward like this, he should be starting here, moving forward outwards. Very minor. And we go through it. Yeah, I'm imagining that he was just called offside because I think the touch was just made. But anyway, moving on. 1-1. Sharks back with the footy. Kind of got the eye-shaped defence going. And that is why I don't like the Irish defence. Unless we're playing mixed. Now the eye defence came in, it was probably pretty popular 15, 16 years ago. The only time you'd really want to see it now is you've got a link and a middle that are pressing nice and high. With this middle sort of hanging back in like a triangle. But he's the eye defender. This guy's the eye defender. Now it's his job to step up, to get onside really quickly, step up into line and sort of save the offside players. Okay? Now, this is good when, if this number 2, let's say he is a brilliant left to right cutout thrower, they want to dump the ball on this middle. Okay, but because the Taipans know that, this is just a hypothetical, because the Taipans know that, they're not going to give that middle. So if you want to make the dump, it's got to be on this link, which means it goes man on, or this middle's going to come over and then you really can't do anything except rip the ball there, but everyone just chases. So that's the idea there. However, why I don't like this is the link's made the touch here. It really can't be, again, it can't be two people making the touch because the link's just going to gun it for the corner. This guy's got to pull the corner here, and it just means those two are separating too far for this one player to cover. So just have one of them in the touch and like that. But because the link's so high, you're really leaving yourself vulnerable for like a quarterback or an outball or anything that we tell the link to just get up and strike. They can't do that because they're too high. They're offside. That's why I don't like the eye defense as much anymore. I might run it with a junior side or a ladies side if there's like one player that's throwing brilliant balls. We might say let's shift into eye formation so she can't get that pass or something like that. Anyway, I'm like slow-moing. Phase play. Oh, and he crept under. So it's just a punish play. Middle link. Okay, splits short side to take on the link making the touch. And if he can dive at his feet, you beauty. Okay, it's good cover defense there. Sharks are all getting nice and tight as a team. This right now, I don't know how close he is to the line, but it looks like this player can make the touch. So the number 5 probably just needed to get up, but not make this touch. Okay, you don't really want to make this touch when you're that close to the line unless he actually dives. Then you just reach down and stop the try. But once they're that far into the line, if you have to come in to shut down a play, you don't want to make the touch unless they're actually trying to score. Because if you come in and make the touch now, when they're not trying to score, they play the ball, and now you've just got to cover a second phase play, which you're out of position. He does do a very good job to recover because it might have been an impromptu second phase play, but he's just stepped back. And it ended up just being like a bit of an out ball play. Nice try. I think that takes it back to 2-2. So Sharks now with the ball. Oh, the camera angle change. Looks like a Cindy or a Cowboy. Basically a middle sweep. I do believe they call this a try. I'm just going to double check. Go through it anyway. Yeah, it calls it a try. Okay, so a middle sweep. It's just your standard sweeper, except this person, number 2, that's sweeping around is a middle, and it's the link dumping the ball. Now, this works out the same as a punish. You're taking on this offside link. But instead of a split or a quickie doing it, it's a sweeper. Okay, you sweep around, you get a bit of momentum, and you try and score at his feet. That's the gap that they've left between the link and the middle, which to me that's too big. It might look a bit bigger because the link is so high. And which means this guy's not as wide as I may think because of the camera angle. But it looks really big at the moment. So when number 2 gets the ball, and he just goes for the line, I think this is probably a touch. Instead of the winger's offside, or the winger's missed it. Okay, well if the link's made the touch there, I believe the link's offside. There's no way he could have beaten the ball to the line. So that's a good call. But I think the winger's called a no touch. But that's all that is. You just try and take on the link, and the link's just got to pull a real hard corner and not let him on the outside. That's a nice pass. Let's see what happened in the lead up. Another problem. 2 in the touch, 2 middles. Okay, which means when the dummy half picks up, you can split. The dumper can split either way. That's the first thing. Dummy half picks up, and you have oodles of time because you've got 2 players in front of you that can't do anything until they're back on side. You pick one, you beat him. Now it's a 4-on-3, and you just pick the long ball. So looking back at that, it looked like that those 2 players in the touch were a link and a middle. Just they tightened right up. Whether it's a link and a middle or a middle or whatever it is, we just want one in the touch. Okay, have as many players on side as you can. 1 player offside. That's the biggest advantage you can give yourself in attack. Here's another Cindy. It's dumped on the middle, and he's intercepted his own pass. I hate how it's gone to a close-up angle. So they've given the Cindy here. Now, this is dumped on the link. Now, the rule of thumb for a middle sweep is if it's dumped on the link, you give... Well, that looks like it's going... That arrow doesn't look like it's in a good spot. Anyway, you give the ball to the link if it's dumped on... Sorry, you give the ball to the sweeper if it's dumped on the link. If it's dumped on the middle, you don't want to give it to the sweeper because this link will be back on side and you'll just run into numbers and then you can take off from dummy half. It ends up like a 4-on-3 platform. So it gets very popular, running the middle sweep with the dump on the middle. But here you got both players are up pretty high, so it really doesn't matter what the dummy half does. In this case, he picks up. You can see the link's gone to a hard corner, which means the middle's got to do a corner as well. That just allows the open side for the dummy half to run. Okay, this middle's got off the line to shut the play down. He's in good body shape. He's just reaching out to make the touch while keeping himself as close as possible to his player. The link here is up nice and high, which means if he throws a bullet pass, a flat ball to his link, it's going to be intercepted. And if he throws a short ball to number 10, it's going to be touched. Great defense. I think that's perfect. And because he's there, the winger can go out to his winger because there's no threat. But in the tiny little possibility that this happens, I did another review where this happened as well. So it's actually a pass to the link. It's a pass to the wing, but the link kind of intercepts it. So this guy's well within his rights to go out to his wing because that's really where the pass is going, but it's just been picked off by the link. So it kind of makes him look a bit silly, but as a fellow coach, that's what I want him to do. We want to protect those plays that are the high percentage, but also scoring plays. These are super hard to pull off, so they're not a priority. Prioritize the common plays and your policy. Punish. Waikato. Someone's been watching YouTube. There's a nice sports coach with Manu Wakely and I'm so sorry, I forgot the other New Zealand guy's name. It'll come to me at some point in this video, I'm sure. Anyway, they do a video based on this little move called a Waikato. Mixed open. New Zealand side came to a World Cup one year and won the World Cup basically from this play. But in mixed, normally that would be a girl versus a guy link, but it can be done in men's. I've seen it done plenty of time in men's. So it looks like a punish. Okay, but now they take off back to the open, and the person that did the punish angles back this way, which means the link, he's now got to turn and cover the inside. So he starts pulling a corner, and then he's got to turn to cover that inside ball. But when he does, this player here then bounces out, and he gets a rip pass. So it's kind of like a little S. If I draw it over here, the dummy half picks up, goes this way, and then rips the pass. The guy that splits goes this way, angles back in, and then bounces out. So it's very much movements are in sync with each other, and the defense, it's just very hard to defense. You just get pulled off balance. But yeah, Waikato, Waikato, I believe it's spelled. Google or YouTube that. There's a nice video of those two going through that play, and they were, I believe, the one that invented the play. I've actually versed Manu Wakely where he's done it on our team in mixed open, and he scored. It's very hard to defend. This is another angle of it. So there it is. They cut back in, and then they go out together. You're pretty much guaranteed to buckle your defense. Alright, another middle sweep. Okay, this player's just fallen over. There's not really much to say here, considering we've already analysed the middle sweep. He's right there to make the touch. He's just slipped over. They're forgivable. Like, no, you can't help that. So we'll move on. I'd go through it, but we've already gone through a middle sweep twice, so... Punish again. He's called. Look, whether or not I agree with the call, let's go through it. Middle link. It's a link having a crack at the offside link. In a nutshell. Short side quickie on the link. There it is. There's the dive at the feet. Now, this guy's done a pretty good job. He's got nice and tight. The only probably thing I can think of that would have definitely saved this try is if he was back on the line at the dump and he moved an extra meter forward, there's no way they'd be calling that a try. But because he's in nice and tight, but he's so close to the line, it does provide that doubt because the call becomes so close because everything's so close to the line. So get off that line, make the touch a couple of meters out, and it's undeniable. They won't even dive. And if they dive, it's so noticeable that you've made that touch because you're off the line. Get off the line, let it eliminate that dive. So this here is just a late switch. Now, a pet hate of mine is you've got numbers on one side. So there's two defenders and there's another three out there, and he switches back under for some reason, unless he thought they were running out of space. But when he does a little dummy and this player overreads the switcher, now if that was man on, if that was 4-on-4, That is exactly how you defend a late switch. But because there was numbers, it was a 4-on-3. He's kind of just defended the switcher. Whereas if he kept on the ball carrier, we'd be 3-on-3 right now. But that's a great way to defend a switch if you're man on. Like if it's the last touch, a team might try a late switch. So if you can read that late switch and then you switch persons that you're marking and you become the switcher, it's best practice. Nice pass. Okay, interesting. Okay, this is a good coaching point for wingers here. So it's a Rooster play. We've gone through Roosters before. I'll quickly touch on it. Rooster is a 4-on-3 platform. So it's a fade. You dump on the middle. Very important. And it's a run-around play. Now, the person with the ball now, their job is to either run direct or at a 45, like at a degree into the line. They want to get the ball run direct before they ball play. Otherwise, they're just going to pass too early and pick the wrong options and panic. So you run into the line a little bit, which is good. He's noticed a 4-on-3. The winger's unmarked, so he throws the ball. It's a nice pass, but this winger's actually reacted really well. I've just dropped my phone. This winger's reacted really well. The only problem is all his focus now is on the ball. Now, we talk about don't ball watch. This is what we mean. Watching the ball, still watching the ball, while the winger has actually been really wide and he's actually had to run inwards to catch the ball. This winger's running wide because that's where the ball's going, and he doesn't notice until the last minute that, oh, I've overrun this because I was watching the ball. So once you see the ball leave the hands of the passer, just eye off your player and just run straight at them. If they're running towards the corner, just run towards that corner cone. This is just another Rooster. I'm not going to go through this one. This is just the exact same Rooster, except in hitting long, they've just hit the link hole. So this makes it the drop-off. So the rules of the 8th edition touch, we go to 4-on-4 for 2 minutes. Whoever's winning after the 2 minutes will be the victor. If it's still a draw after the 2 minutes, they drop a player off each, go to 3-on-3, and it's whoever wins after that. So we've got an early try, and I believe it's that... Oh, it's a bit of a collision. I believe it's that Waikato play again, which is probably a good idea, Waikato. But a different setup. Instead of like just your standard punish Waikato, they've done a counties Waikato. Now, counties, this is funny. Played touch on Monday night, and the guys that were trying to do this play, and they kept trying to figure out how to do it. Now I'm watching it in front of me. So he splits in, middle link, split in, have a crack at the offside player. Just run direct at him. But what he does is he runs at a bit of an angle, and the dummy half will run with him, getting this guy interested on the inside. And then once he has that player interested, he bounces out. Bounce out. And it's a good idea to do one of those little expansive bounce plays or bounce out plays when there's only 4-on-4, because you can't get jammed by a winger because there is no winger. So lots of room on the outside. So expansive plays work really good at 4-on-4. Let's see if the Sharks can level it up before the end of extra time. Rooster. Give. Phase. Back the other way. Good ball movement. So going back to the Rooster, if I was coaching, if this was my team, 4-on-4, I'd be calling a Rooster with a quick release. Now what that is, everything's the same up until now. Fade on the middle, dummy half underneath. This line that he's doing is perfect. The 45-degree line. Get this guy interested in your line. There's the pop pass, but immediately, first thing I would wrap a lot deeper. I'd pass and wrap a lot deeper. As soon as you catch the ball, release it back or pass back. It doesn't matter what side to the wrapper, because now if you release it now and his momentum's this way, there's no way this defender will be able to catch. And this guy's got too much room to cover because it's only 2-on-1 rather than a 4-on-3. Okay, but he goes into the line here, which is good. That's fine. This player needed to get off the line still. I don't care if you're the only one out there. Get off the line, because if you get off the line and he does that, you can make that touch. Now, this isn't a bad thing because there's no dummy half. Your second phase isn't actually a risk because those two there are actually going to be marking each other, and they're at the same spot. So whether or not the Taipans started panicking at the thought of second phase here, they didn't really need to. Yeah, it just looked like a bit of panic, and that was just a bit of ball movement, and just individually they've just beaten the other players. Yeah, there's no real tactic about there. They're just, well, the number 13 who missed that last touch, he could have held his ground, I reckon. Held his ground rather than just run forward and make that touch. But just good ball movement, keeping the ball alive. But like as I said, I'd try expansive plays. If not one of those Rooster quick releases, an out ball would be good. So we go down to 3-on-3 now. Let's have a look, see how they do this. It's like a Rooster. And he got the try. And that's the winning try, and let's take our shirt off. Okay. Now, when you've got 3 defenders, if your middle defender is making this touch, if you pull a corner, you're leaving a 2-on-1, guaranteed. So when we are pulling a corner, yes, we still want to pull the corner where, like if the ruck's on this side, that's still your short side. That's not going to change. But you want to sort of pull direct. Give yourself as much opportunity to make the touch and recover and compete as you can. Because if someone has to come and shut down, there's just too much space. Yes, there's occasions where that's going to happen. Granted, it's extremely difficult to defend 3-on-3. But he sort of does that. Okay? The only issue I see is the way he is moving. He's kind of side shuffling. Now his shape is good, like his chest is probably pointing the right way. But he's sort of propping and trying to compete almost like he's onside, and he's moving back onto the line really slow. He still needs to get back to the line really quickly. And he can just hold that shape and that line that he did without worrying about side shuffling and worrying there. So he's probably out of the 5 boxes he's need to tick. He ticked 4 of them, but it was a nice, and his mate almost got to the touch for him, but it was nice direct running from the Rooster, and he got low and he scored the try. So the Taipans won another cracking game. It's just good to see the quality of men's open spread across the board over in the England Nationals. So that's great to see. I'm looking forward to watching a few more of this. I did watch the under-14s grand final, which also was a cracker of a game, a really high-scoring, close game. I might look to analyse that one in the future. But thanks for watching, guys. Another episode of Game Analysis, and we'll see you next time.